If you're going to be playing on the Teak random free trade TLP server, then this video is for you. This is a great way to get some great loot. Now, it's not going to be as random as you think it is, not like the regular group zones, but you still will be able to get random loot from all the mobs and also from the other planes in here. The place I'm talking about is the Plane of Fear right here. And you want to come out and do this because the Teak server has a maximum level upon opening of level 60, which is a Kunark maximum level. And that's going to give you a big advantage for doing this zone right here. In fact, you could easily one group it or even less than one group it. Maybe you can have three or so, or even two necromancers can do it quite easily. They can break the agent of change here. So here's what you got to know. If you get the agent of change, you're going to get a fully populated plane of fear. And the plan here is you want to go in and you want to kill the yard trash and get all their good loot because that stuff is going to be tradable. Let me give you an example as a necromancer of some of the things I have. Like I got this blighted skull cap right here, and I do have something else that's blighted. I have a blighted gloves, and these are very good items. They're better than the group level items, and it's fun to do this zone. It's a good challenge, and you're going to get some good stuff. But take a look at how good this stuff is. It's quite good, and you can get this from killing the boogeymen. Each of the special mobs in here will drop something for your class. So the other option to do it is to get the open world right here. Now, this is actually an easier way to do it because a lot of other people will be getting the idea to come in and farm the Plane of Fear. The big guilds will be farming the Agent of Change and mowing it down, but they're also going to be farming this too because what happens is the spawn rate over there is really slow. I think some of the mobs take 8 hours to respawn, and that's because it's a raid zone. What's going to happen when you get in there is there may be no mobs at all, depending on when you get in. If you get into the zone really early and one of the first few people in there at say level 50ish or so, then there will be mobs running around and it will be dangerous. But later on, as you get up there, what happened on Thornblade is that um, there were not many mobs in there. People were coming in there and then they were like camping out, and then they'd log back in right next to the boogeyman house or wherever they were going, Fright Finger House, and they'd kill off the mobs really fast and farm them and get that nice gear that you always wanted. Now, some gear drops from here and some drops from Plane of Hate, so you'll just have to see what class you are. If you got a high enough level, I would suggest doing the Agent of Change, coming in here and clearing off the bottom half of the or bottom 1/3 of the map, and you can get most of the things you want. The other parts of the map are a little bit harder, like the north west section for the Shadow Knight gear. That's a little bit harder. Okay, next it's time to talk a little bit about the spells you're going to need. Number one spell you're going to need, Feign Death. Don't go anywhere without this spell, and you need to have this thing maxed out because it takes abjuration. This is very important. Don't go in there with out max abjuration. This character is 57. It has in era, I believe this is Kunark gear from the Thornblade server. This is my old character that I copied down to this server. This is a test server that is taking place on. So that's about the amount of hit points you have. I have Dead Man Floating. Make sure you have J boots. Don't even try this if you don't have J boots. You won't be fast enough. And I have whatever buffs that they've popped on there. Temperance didn't come around, but you get the idea. It's very similar amount of hit points. I got my shield buff and all of that. Spells you will really want to have are Screaming Terror. Screaming Terror is a Mesmerize with a chance of Membler. You're going to need this if you get a couple bad guys on you. Now, right now, I do have the Mercenary buffing us, but I have suspended it, so it is no longer there. Once you get in there, it's also helpful to have Conjure Corpse because when people come in later, you can get their corpse for them. But for this, you really won't need it at all. And we also have a spell under here, and I'm going to show you. It's a resurrection spell. This is very important to have too because as a necromancer, you can res people. And when other people try to break in, especially on the Agent of Change, there will be deaths because they're not able to feign death and they may not camp out in time, but you can feign death later, camp out when it's safe, and you can res them. It requires a tiny, requires a essence emerald. That means you have to sacrifice somebody of a certain level, no problem. People have plenty of experience. You can get that done. Okay, so those are the things you need. Obviously, make sure you have your pet. You're going to need this pet for sure when you get there. If you end up fighting mobs, at least put clinging darkness so when they start to run, you can control them and stop them from running, because you definitely don't want them to run. So let's go over it real quick. The amount of mana I have is 4,000 mana, and this is the amount of hit points. And my pet is right here. Keep the pet on taunt. You want him to buy as much time for you as possible. Where we're going to be heading is we're going to be heading to the southwest corner of the map. And you don't know what's inside the open world zone. I don't either. So you just want to go there, and there may be nobody in there, and that would be great. And you just pop in and you run for it, or it may be full pop and you have to fight for it. Make sure before you do that, if you're a necromancer, you bind right here, bind affinity, bind yourself here. Melees can't do it, so I recommend sending in the necromancer first, because the necro can, if he dies, he or she dies, he can come back right here and be ready to try it again. If you get a melee class like a monk, which they're excellent for this, and they die, well, it's a long trip back depending on how far away they are. What you have to worry about when you're up there is Cinderella's there, but I would recommend just running right past her. And if you can do that, you're all good to go. Invisibility doesn't work in there. Invisibility undead doesn't work, but don't worry about that. Final tip on getting here: when you go into the fear rot and you get into this area, a lot of times people get lost and then they get messed up and they die here unnecessarily. These specters right here can see through invisibility undead. So don't even try to inviso on them, and they will aggro like crazy. The general rule when coming through here, as you might have heard it before if you did any raiding, is stay on the right and you'll be all right. Just keep going right, 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 right. Every time you hit an intersection, take a right, and you're going to come in here until you get through the fake wall. Once you're out the fake wall, you come right over here. But generally, if you have a group and you're at least 50 or so, you should be able to plow right through these specters. In fact, they drop some good loot too that you can sell. So, you may want to make some money off them at the same time. Another good tip for you guys out there is that these dry bone skeletons can drop weapons. You see right here. So if you're waiting for the rest of your friends to show up, kill them and then equip them on the pet. This is something new I didn't know about. It shows what the pet has on him, but the pet's going to die really, really fast. He is just a distraction for you to get to where you're going. Okay, we're going to get ready to run it and gun it. 22 minutes left on DMF. You want to have yourself levitating in there, because the game NPCs have a little problem with z-axis. That means vertical distancing and stuff, and they kind of get a little weird. So it always helps to go in like this. Okay, we're going to get ready to go, and when we go in, I'm going to show you the map, and we're going to go for it. So let's go. Let's hit it. Here we go. We're going to run it, and we're going to gun it. Just run past this Cinderella. Bye-bye, lady. And in we go. Open world. And you're going to take a left, and you're going to head southwest, and I'll pop the map as soon as I do. You can see exactly where we're going. You may want to use auto run here. Make sure you hold page up so that you're sure to be going the right way. So once you get in and swing left, there we go, and start moving in this direction and pop the map. So you can see where we're going right there. We got 2 on us already. That's not bad. That's pretty good. And we're going to head right down along this edge where Sucor is. And we're going to keep going and going and going until you get to this area right here. See this little hump right there? Keep going a little bit more, and let's see if we can feint him. And we did. So right there, we're looking for the message down here. Now, luckily, they did not engage the pet, and Mr. Pet's alive, so we saved some bone chips. And you can see on the map here, you would never be able to see this map, but you can run this on the test server. You won't be able to do this on the TLP server. So notice here that if we came in a moment later, it could have been quite a bit worse. We could have had a Shriever back. We could have had Scareling. You never know what you're going to get in here. But the reason why they all go this way, because this is the least populated area to come into. See, we still have some aggro right here. Nothing on the pet right here. So now it's just a waiting game. You want to wait until the coast is clear. But you see how we came in with DMF? You could just fly right over them, and they get a little confused in trying to get you. Now stuff is starting to go away, and got the feigned death. And like I said, you keep that maxed out. That's Kazakh Thule there. I'm going to point out what you want to do in this zone. So there we go. Your enemies have forgotten you. Excellent. That's what you want to do. But it's not all clear yet. Make sure you're ready for this, because what can happen is you can sit up like this, and even though you're right here and against the wall, these darker colored ones have a bigger aggro radius. The way it works is the lower the color, the less aggro radius they have. So if you're coming in here lower than 57, at maybe about 50, there's going to be some that are yellow and so on. They're going to see you much further, and you're going to have a big chain reaction aggro. But I wanted to show you what it looks like. So when you get out here, then your job is to either camp out, wait for other people to come in here, or wait right here and have other people come in, and then try to get the cleric camped out so you can res everybody and everybody gets started. But like I said, group zones will be wiped out, and they'll probably have one person down here. Let's target this guy here. Check his distance here, and we'll see when he aggros. And you can see right here, it can get really, really hairy. So you got to be careful. One thing you can do is if you have a necromancer group, you can get the necro to come down here and feign death closer to here. That way you can tell the people up here how close it is. And you want to pull all the way up to here, kill the stuff here, because if you fight down here, look what's going to happen. You get Scareling, Spine Chiller, Amy Warrior, and that's just bad right there. You're going to be in trouble as a solo player. So if you're going to do this as a group, my recommended group will be, obviously you need to get a tank, somebody that knows how to tank. You want to have a good healer. A cleric is a must, because you need somebody to res. You need those buffs. You also want to have an enchanter here, because if you pull a train like this, you're going to need to start AoE mezzing and locking the stuff down. You need a skilled enchanter that can do it. I would recommend a minimum of one necromancer, because what happens is some of these mobs will teleport you. I think it's like the spine chiller, and then some of these things will fear you, and you end up chain aggroing at Dracolich, and you can end up all the way out here. You never know where you're going to be, and you need the necromancer to summon your corpse right there and get it back for you. So necromancer is very important. So that fills up 4 spots there. You have 2 more spots for either utility, like you could put a shaman here. They do decent DPS, and I'd recommend a little more DPS. If the zone is kind of cleared out, I would recommend you come in with a little more DPS, maybe caster DPS, so you can kill the mobs really fast. There will be other people jumping on the mobs and getting the stuff done. So that's what it looks like, and that's the whole trick to this. And this is what I recommend for your mid, I would say even low 50s all the way up to 60 to get the loot here. It's not totally random. I think they do share loot with Plane of Hate. At least they did a long time ago. If anybody knows if it's any different now, if it's just Plane of Fear goes to Plane of Fear or whatever, with the trash mobs, let me know. But back then they did share the loot, which is really, really nice, because you could get a chance to get some of the monk gear that drops off the Shriever backs here. So take a look at this and see what's coming in. Let's track the Scareling right here. He's still far away, so you know if they're aggroing on you, you would just see them on extended target. They'll pop up, and then you can tell how close they are by just seeing what their distance is. And as a necromancer, if anything happens, you just go ahead and feign death, and you're out of it. Okay, so let's talk a little quickly about, people have questions about dread, fright, and terror. They're all up here, and you can see here level 55. These mobs are tough, and they have a death touch mechanic with it. So one group is not going to be enough to take these. I think what we've done before is we've 2 grouped these at kind of like this level. So you can go in maybe 55 or so and 2 group them, because you'll just have to have people be able to res really quick, and you can get their things. Their loot, they have a loot table too, but the raid stuff is all tiered. It doesn't randomize as nicely as the group stuff, so you just can't kill them and get everything else. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this here. You got Dracolich. Let's take a look at his pathing, just if you're interested. You'll notice he went from down here to there. So he does sometimes get close enough to the zone in. If you do get Dracolich and he puts some kind of big disease thingy on you, that's pretty much it. You're not going to make it. And I would suggest you have gate ready. So I mean, I have an AA, but you can have the spell so that if you get in here and you get away and you've got some time, you may have a chance to gate out of here. If not, just take it like a man, and then come back in, and just remember this is his tracking, and it's good to see which way he goes because it gives you an idea. Kazakh Thule will be where shaded Kazakh Thule is. Like I said, this is test server, and where you want to hunt is you want to hunt, in my opinion, below everything below the fright tower right here, just like this. Okay, we've got Scareling. Let's see if what distance he aggro's at. He's coming right for us. Let's watch this. This could get interesting. So down here, Amy Warriors drop Shadow Knight stuff. You've got Boogeyman, which is Necromancer stuff. He's closing in. Watch it. Watch it. I bet you he's going to aggro. These guys are a pain to fight because the thing, here we go. See, he's there. Okay, so there's a couple of things you can do. You can try to kill him. I would try to get him all the way up here. Okay, let's just feign it. There we go. See how he's up here? He wasn't able to engage the pet quick enough. And you don't want him to kill your pet and engage him and still be fighting and then start casting fear on everything. You just want it to go like this. This is a good demonstration of why this is a good spot right here. Because he couldn't do anything to us right here. The pathing along this edge kind of confused him. He was actually running away. Give us a chance to feign death, or if you want to cast gate. And let's see how long it takes. Let's watch him. He can backstab you too. He's no fun. But you'll notice the difference. Go back and watch a video and see what his distance was when he first aggroed. He's now 1100 away, all the way up there. So the thing is since he hasn't forgotten about you, if you get up right now and he's this far away, he's going to he's going to come back and aggro all of this stuff, and then it's going to be, you're going to summon a death train. So you make sure he's totally off this. And of course you won't be able to see these. There you go. He forgot about you. You won't be able to see these numbers here, but that's why I say you don't need to see it. The skilled players that pull this all the time and that solo this place, they know already. Wait for him to totally go off the list before even getting up, because some people are like, "Oh, I saw him go away and it's safe. I'm gonna get up," and then guess what? He's still doink. He's still on your aggro, and he's still gonna chain aggro other stuff. Okay, so final tip: if you're gonna work your group and you've got this area, you can actually work out of the core area. I'd put yourself right about here. You don't have to be so far down. Set up down here, and if you're not sure how far away enemies are, you can get your Necromancer or whatever to feign death a little bit further out here. So you can just kind of watch and you can see what's coming by. And you can keep the group safe up here. And then this is what they usually do with the monk. They'll feign death the monk out there. He'll see something come by. He'll get up, pull it, bring it all the way back up the group. They'll kill it and rinse and repeat until they carve out this whole section. So carve out this whole section underneath Fright and Dread. And when you get down to here, you can start working up. You do not want to go into Gorgon territory unless you have to. Gorgon and this area is a real pain in the butt. Glare Lord will go ahead and pillage enchantment on you. They'll take all your buffs off. Gorgon will stun you, really nasty stun. But the thing is that if you want to get Fright Finger stuff, you got to go up here. You notice another Fright Finger. They drop all the good, really good wizard stuff, but there's still some around here. So that's what I would do right there and work this way here. Some of these other things, like you can get Paladin stuff as you move up here. Each class will know what they want, but in general, it's going to look something like this. You want to clear the bottom, start working the bottom half, and then you can start clearing this area. There's some Shrieverbacks that might have monk stuff. And then if you want, you can work a little bit up, but you notice here, Dracolich is right there. It's very, very dangerous. I think if you go anywhere north of the Fright Tower, you're going to aggro this guy, and then it's going to be one big death ride right there. Okay, everybody, I hope you like this and hope you farm this in your 50s to 60s, because this is going to be some of the best loot you can get. And if the Fear Plane is kind of cleared, it's going to be the easiest gear you're going to get. You can just hang out and kill these onesie twosies and have at it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all out on Teak server.